And the fuel in the tank is pure unleaded perspiration. Because this is where we meet, on the corner of here we are and where we want to be. Metro FM, it's where you want to be. Rustenburg.
Coming at your stereos.
86.1. Let's go. Metro FM, your coolest urban radio station. It's where you want to be.
People of Earth, I have an important announcement to make. Listen to me. One that you've been waiting for a long time.
Andile, ketala wena. Andile, wala para mfana. Andile, arangadi wala para.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How's everybody doing tonight? I'd like to welcome to the stage
King Andile, Mama.
to everybody in the house. Give a warm round of applause for
King Andile, Mama.
And he captures the moment.
King Andile, Mama.
And it is extraordinary.
Andile batisdala nabo sibari bethu.
Hold on. Awindlale futhi ithini lapha egcineni.
Batisdala nabo sibari bethu.
What does that mean?
There are many Nigerians in the country, so I shut there like her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sbar. Let's take the calls now. Sbar, please give us a call, Sbar. Let's go to Shola in Randburg.
Hi, Andile.
Yes, Sbar.
I hope
We're going to finish you. We're going to suffocate you.
Grant Kekana speaks on Ronwen Williams.
World-class keeper. I think he should be made the Minister of Finance. He can save South Africa's economy.
We're coming live from Côte d'Ivoire, Abidjan. Sitting with Omar Katuga as well as Mazola here.
Doing a show with you in person feels very great, especially after Nigeria won the Amapiano battle.
What do you think of Hugo Bruce?
Fantastic manager. I wish we could exchange a manager right now. With the quality of players we have, Hugo Bruce will be blessed.
By the way, this is history. This is Dr. Dan's first time on this show in particular. So history has been made. Dr. Danjurdan.
You know, when you sign on those bonuses, the journalists that traveled with the team, just think about them in that.
Well, if there's change left, I'll call you.
Sky is the limit, and you know that you can have what you want, be what you want, have what you want, be what you want.
Sports Night Amplified with Andile on Metro FM. Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. Game over.
Manoyayo ngokingathi igama lakhe uthi ndikumeshek elia Ronald Williams thatha leke osigoduke uthi Ronald khawuyeke ngangelo ndoyithatha elia iya ukulindile uRonald waba wabapha bayithatha South Africa bronze medal ayithatha ingena ngavosha izawuthi kayibuya orthambe ethi sangena benestini ngoHugo Bruce izawuthi South Africa kayifika South Africa ithi sangena sibethe DRC gibela lemincili ngo-2000
Mishak Elia, Koloya Elia, Haiduma, Yatamaya, Koloya Elia, Haiduma, Yatamaya, Bafolo, Kaufala, Mingwaga Masimapadine, Yagosekotasa, Metal wa Bronze, Kanaga Africa Bura, Hufika Mafelong, Ronald Williams, Ashira Japanale, and Mishak Elia.
Mishak Elia Lina, Udodakusemna Chaula, Araga, IT Ronwen Williams. Africa Chipembe, Likotuana medal, Une wa bronze.
Eselile phala. Akio Mishak Elia. Hula mo yang kaketo otabolo. Alrighty! Mohamed Ronwen Williams. O Fedile Mohamed Africa Bora. Bahapa metal wa bronze.
Mishak Elia mwana batlangi bakahla swinene basimashele henhla wona Mr. Mkanene karungwanyana ibona bahupaka tintsumike amithabulele bolo ya Mishak Elia kwele matilweni loko angibenga thabulele kwele matilweni Ronwen Williams khabulela bolo ya le wona Mr. Mkanene Mishak Elia Ronwen Williams ayikhabulela akutitsumi matilweni mikazi mitihlopa nikone la msabeni kutakhabulela sokufanele leswane bafana my hero the unlikely hero kusuka Ivory Coast on Mr. Mkanene ibafana on Mr. Mkanene Ronwen Williams on Mr. Mkanene loyi atiraku nakambe awasefia muhluleri wa hina wona Mr. Mkanene Ronwen Williams sevia umbiri at penalty wona Mr. Mkanene
khangelele khona gig Nigeria yoqala ayikhange ibe
izawubheka emnatheni la bhola izawubheka emnatheni wangangazela captain oh my captain ikhong William Paul through the Kong trust
Nigeria, William Trust Ikong.
Waita kule ne kuta kila singa lokumeni pete kadwa pora yile yan wakatonga ekoko. Ya nazwa mambure. Wapuma unabani mpazamo yake ukala ya mkosta ketoko wababa wangandazela umnatha wakalu zoleka Frank Yannick Casey 1-1
walebelekera adingra uyakari 83 orekisha banda obeta cross ekabagotsi hala motsotso wa masometharo tshela karolong ya bobedi ya papadi the comeback kings of Africa Ivory Coast mission ya bobedi.
Gonna tell you some of the interesting moments. I'm gonna say overall, wow. Hey, Ossie. Ra. That's a remix.
Swananzia, Brian. Swananzia.
That's how we start the celebration. What a weekend that was overall. South Africa getting a bronze medal. Nigeria having not been able to. And you talk about the tournament overall, Nigeria, when they scored, they never lost a game. First team to score against them after they scored first was South Africa. And we're still to see something different happening in the final proper. Now, this is a year, 1984, by the way, Ossie Amina. They went to Cote d'Ivoire, Nigeria. Mm-hmm. They played in the final in that year.
Yeah.
They played at the Felix Houphouët-Boigny Stadium. The first time they lost an AFCON final was in Cote d'Ivoire, 40 years ago. They scored first. Yeah. Lawal was one of those watching in the stands alongside Nwako Kanu, scored the opener.
Yeah.
3 goals were scored by Cameroon. They lost by 3-1. 40 years later, returned to Cote d'Ivoire. Mm-hmm. This time around playing against the host nation in a newly formed stadium, a newly inaugurated stadium, replacing Felix Houphouët-Boigny Stadium. This one named after the current president, Alassane Ouattara. They played in front of a capacity crowd. They scored first. Cote d'Ivoire said, no, not in our backyard. It's never going to happen here. 1-1. 2-1. That's a nation that was knocked out at some stage. You thought they are gone.
Yes.
They came back, and their coach deservedly so. MS Fai getting the coach of the tournament overall. That's how things have gone. We'll recap exactly who were the voices you heard on that clip there. Also, thank you much to Metel alongside Morena as well as Lindiwe.
Is your credit card using you? Ask what's better. Upgrade to a Capitec credit card for money back in your pocket. Get a guaranteed 1% cash back on every spend, a limit of up to 500,000 Rand, and interest from Prime. Plus, easy, fast, safe payments on our app and Apple or Samsung Pay. Make your spending work for you. Get it on the Capitec app now. Capitec. Better never rests.
Hi, my name is Vincent, technician from PG Glass. Damaged roads can cause big problems for windscreens. My last customer ignored a small chip on hers. She drove over a pothole and cracked. She could have saved time and money by not leaving that chip too long. When a chip is smaller than a 2 Rand coin, we can usually repair it without taking out the entire windscreen. Plus, most insurance policies will cover the cost of the repair.
Windscreen chipped or cracked? Call PG Glass on 0860 030303 today.
PG Glass Repair, PG Glass Replace.
Sports Night Amplified with Andile on Metro FM. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
It is the weekend that was. What a weekend it was indeed. Celebration galore. Let's just give you some of the voice that actually brought you the action. You can talk from Sichaba coming through from that is Tobela FM. You also had the likes of Arnold Ramutuli bringing you some performance as well overall in the matches that were played over the weekend. We also had Hodu coming in between. Kangela was one of the pictures as well. And also only Bongo to mention a few of the names that you had that are bringing the voices and the magical voices of SABC. But immediately after the game, I've got to say. But before, let's just pay homage as well to the team that was here just before us. 3 to 6, it was Matt L alongside Morena Murumuru as well. There's Morena, in fact, was doing that is a sport news as well. Lindy was covering the news on the show. The touchdown, they're back again tomorrow because today was a Monday. Different day it is indeed here. But after the games were played, this is how the reaction came about from the coach, Hugo Bross, the first one to hear from.
I can say you today there is nothing, really nothing. You told me there are some people who are coming to me and said, yeah, coach, this and that. If Hugo Bross is leaving South Africa, then it will be because the federation decides to leave, that's all. I'm happy with my job, I'm happy with the team, I'm not always happy with the media, but okay. I take it with, and we will see now. I hope that people will be more and more behind the team.
That is the coach of Bafana, Hugo Bross, talking about the fact that his future is still here. He's not leaving yet, so he's looking forward to seeing how things are going to go going forward. But also he did mention after the bronze medal that he's super proud of the boys.
And I think everybody saw today why I am so proud. This was an exhausted team today of South Africa. We played 2 games, 120 minutes, 2 times with penalties. We played against opponents who had 1 day more rest than we had. You have the climate, and you saw today that we were not fresh. But when you see the mentality in that group, they fight for it till the last second of the game, deserve that win.
One thing for sure, that is Hugo Bross really wanted to say, great performance over Bafana. So even the doomsayers are starting to believe that maybe we were wrong on this time around. Last week we had one of the Nigerian, that is one of the commentators also, journalists saying that the Nigerians have also ate humble pie when it comes to Jose Peseiro because they never thought you'd get them this far. But he says, you know what? On a day, the Ivorians were much, much better than the Nigerians.
What was better than us? What was better than us today? Was better in the first match against them. Today was better than us. I think they've all meant the people helped too much the team. Our team felt the match.
One of the star players when you talk about the Ivorian, Fofana. Seko Fofana. He scored a beauty, the goal that opened the tournament overall when they played their first game, and that was when they won by 2 goals against Guinea-Bissau. He's been there all the way until to the last game. He didn't want to leave the field of play even yesterday. And he just says that, you know what? This is just feels so good being champions.
You know, it's not easy because we lose a lot of games during the preparation. And this was good because after we change a lot of things and we come back stronger. And today we are very happy because for some players it's the second winning. And for me it's the first time I participate to the competition and I win and very happy.
They've joined an elite group of players, the likes of Yaya Toure to have actually won the Solomon Kalou, to have won it as well. The players he's mentioned is saying that some players winning for the second time. We're going to talk about one player, Max Gradel, getting his second gold medal in the AFCON tournament. The other one was Serge Aurier getting his second gold medal. Max Gradel also got a silver medal in 2012 when they lost against Zambia in the final. But the man of the moment from the Nigerian point of view, he became the overall best player of the tournament. He was absolutely brilliant. Talking about William Trost Ekong, the captain of the Nigerians. He says the Ivorians deserve the win.
I want to congratulate Ivory Coast. I think they deserve to be the winner today. We gave it our best. It's been a fantastic tournament of the team. I'm very proud of everyone. But yeah, lots of things to learn, and I would have loved to be standing here as a winner. But we will be better. We'll be stronger.
When you look at the other player that did very well, was very close. It was always going to be between him and Ronan Williams at the end of the day as to who walk away with the best goalkeeper of the tournament. When you got to after the last 16 matches, they were tied. Quarterfinals tied. Semi-finals, they were tied as well. But it was just him was just ahead because he actually had conceded lesser goals than Ronan Williams. Then the third place playoff happened. Ronan Williams kept a clean sheet again. And then he conceded 2 goals at Stanley Nwabali in the final. Therefore meaning the man that walked away with the award, Ronan Williams, for the best goalkeeper. And he says, Ronwen does deserve that award.
Ronwen Williams is a good goalkeeper, to be honest. It's not a news to me. Him winning, he deserves it, to be honest. He's a very good goalkeeper. For people with this kind of guy, and him had a chance today to win the best goalkeeper of the tournament, he deserves it. I wish him well. I give him credit.
So that is the reaction that was for the weekend after Nigeria lost in a final against Cote d'Ivoire. Nigeria losing their 5th final overall out of 8 they've played in, winning only 3 of those. And then Cote d'Ivoire, on the other hand, for the first time they played in a final, by the way, the Principal, where they were goal scored. All the other 4 finals they played in were all goalless draws.
Yeah, if you were to guess which team will win, I always say this Ivorian team are underdogs. And they do smash and grab. Goal come from nowhere, Brian. And there's a player there called Singo, Wilfred.
His run is unbelievable. Eh?
No, team must tell us, is Wilfred Stefan Singo. But Singo, they come from Toyando.
No, we'll chat to team after the game. So maybe you're watching different sporting codes over the weekend. My special moment is got to go to the Super Bowl. Every time we sit down and watch all the stuff that happens, the day when they announce that Usher is going to perform, that was for us, Tina, Youth and Dala. We were really excited to see one of our own performing there. So it was Kansas City. They walked away victorious. But we're going to talk about the performance overall. Patrick Holmes are winning the MVP overall. Cricket, it was Australia's time as they managed to win in the under-19, defeating the defending champions. That was England. That was India, by the way, in that particular final. So that's another great story to talk about. Also, Momentum Proteas also lost a series 2-1 against the Aussies. We'll have a chat later on today to talk about some of the standout performers in the tournament. Malibonga Makete will talk to us about that and also talk about the future of the under-19 team when it's come to South Africa going forward. But it's all about celebrating a great moment. La Liga, great things happen. Hey, Arsenal, Matot. 6,
my boy.
Saw some people walking around here like bosses in offices, with a 6-0 moving around here. So that's what we're going to talk about also. Maybe you want to get a reaction about all of that. 060-584-7303. Just send us your message. You may be an Arsenal fan, Manchester City fan, Liverpool fan. You are probably supporting Bayer Leverkusen, who caused some upset in German Bundesliga. It looks like the stranglehold that we've always had, or Bayern Munich, is coming to an end. Are we just getting too excited? Maybe they'll come back to take it back, but what a game it was over the weekend. Also, can't forget La Liga. Yeah, all the drama. But the biggest story of the weekend, Bafana played against DR Congo. They were dominating. DR Congo came and looked very good overall. A gentleman who scored a brace in 1996. What was also interesting about this one here, Hosiamin, is that this happened in a month where South Africa celebrated 28 years ago when they won the AFCON tournament. Here, they called him way back in the days. Mark, how's it?
I am very well.
In fact, you're joined by Mark Fish, not Mark Williams. Yeah, no,
yes, I'm just about to say.
Yeah, and Mark Fish is the one that's joining us. Here is Mark Williams. Yeah, they're all Mark. Just need to make sure. In fact, Mark Williams, Mark Fish is the one that went to Congo and you came back looking like you were fighting with Osiamin, eh?
Looking like Mvala.
No.
I still remember when you guys went to play a game and you came back, there was a bit of a fight in the stadiums and you came back, but that was a different era. Let's talk about this performance of South Africa this past weekend and overall performance of the team in this AFCON tournament.
So I'm not sure what you want me to say because at the end of the day, we've watched them, from the opening match against Mali to learning from that loss to seeing them, unfortunately lose to Nigeria, on penalties. I think it's been a phenomenal performance. I think that it's the first time in a very, very long time we've seen a Bafana team that's played with fantastic structure, with individual brilliance, and obviously a team that, again, from the outside you look at, they understand what it means to play for the coach and vice versa, and obviously play for the country. They look like they had a fantastic team spirit. And we are going to praise them for a long time, but the importance is now to build on it. And to build from this is, again, we start again. We go for the challenge of having to qualify for 2026 World Cup. So fantastic individual performances. And yes, I heard you earlier, playing about Ronwen Williams. But there's a few, of course, again, we watch the tournament and there are individuals that stand out. But again, I think for me, it's more the team performance. They showed us what they're capable of. I think Hugo Broos over the last 2 years have been working with the team. He's got rid of maybe one or two players that he didn't want in the squad. He's got his own squad. They understand what he wants from them, and absolutely fantastic performance. I was very fortunate to be in the stadium when they beat Morocco, who were at that time probably one of the favourites to lift the trophy, and it was a fantastic performance. So they know what they need to do. I think the players now realize the experience of playing at an AFCON and being successful. When I say being successful, getting bronze is a fantastic achievement. I'm sure they would have wanted gold or silver, but they have something to build on, and I think that they brought pride and made us proud to be South African football followers again.
I mean, let's take it back. I mean, this is now way back. The last time South Africa got any medal at the AFCON tournament was 2000. Let's talk about some of the memories that you had way back then when you were playing then for Bafana Bafana. After 96, South Africa won it. 98 finished as runners-up. 2000 got a bronze medal in the competition.
So looking back at that specific tournament, it was Ghana, Nigeria. They shared the tournament.
Yeah.
We had a fantastic win in the quarterfinals, beating the host, one of the hosts, the co-hosts, Ghana, and then going to Nigeria to go play Nigeria in the semi-final. And unfortunately, I think when we look back, we as a team didn't realize how much we would miss Eric Tinker. Eric Tinker got sent off in the quarterfinals, and unfortunately wasn't available for the semi-finals. And Nigeria were just stronger and better on the day, and they performed to unfortunately beat us 2-0. But I was thinking about it, and maybe let's hope that the players are working the other way around, where we went gold, silver, bronze. Now hopefully we can go bronze and just skip the silver and go straight to gold, because we do know that next AFCON is next year in Morocco. So the players, that's exciting. I must say, as a former Bafana player, I am someone that reluctantly used to watch Bafana, because we didn't see what we wanted to see or what we would like to see for them, showing the passion and commitment playing for the country. But we've seen that now. We've seen it from the lads, and I'm very excited to see what will happen over the next year, leading to the next AFCON, and obviously the next year and a bit to see, for the World Cup qualifiers. But they've made us excited again, and this is important. I think the most important thing is that now when Bafana play, when we played our home World Cup qualifiers, we need to fill the stadium. We need to fill the stadium, show our support. We need to make sure that whichever country is coming to play here understand there's a 12th, 13th, and 14th man that is behind our national team because of the performances that they have shown us over this AFCON.
When you look back to the team that played in 2000 as well, there were slightly more Sundowns players playing then, but this time around the total dominance of Mamelodi Sundowns players in the competition. How important is it for both Chiefs and Pirates to start doing well both in a league and a Champions League respectively?
Again, I think we all know that as football fans, is that it's very important that our teams do well on the continent. And in the Champions League. We must also just say, obviously you had the majority Sundowns fan players, but the AFL Cup that they won recently, that was just between 8 different teams. It's not the African Champions League.
Yeah.
Again, it's just important. Whichever players, Chiefs and Pirates, Sundowns, for whatever people talk about outside the football circles, Sundowns have set the standards. They have set the standard in the PSL and obviously on the continent for South African teams. And the big teams, whichever they are now in South Africa, need to follow suit and make sure that they are competing on the continent, so that the players get the experience of playing at the continent on the continent. I think that is always the key. I mean, playing West Africa, I think that was so tough for the players, and they achieved remarkable results. Now the next AFCON is in North Africa, which I think it's a little bit more, I'm going to say a little bit more easier to play in. I think it's the place itself, the way football is conducted there. But again, I'm just excited, and I think most of us that's played for Bafana and that watched this team, this squad of players perform in Ivory Coast, I think they've got us excited, and this is the key. For us, as football fans, I say as football followers, us as the federation of South African Football Federation to build on this, to make South Africa proud in the sense of where football needs to go for our country.
I mean, you already mentioned that, you don't have one standout performer in this Bafana squad. You feel that it was a huge team effort overall. But being a former defender yourself, you have to be mighty proud of the way the lads handled themselves at the back.
No, definitely. I think it's the central defensive partnership of Mabala and Kekana was brilliant. Obviously, for us, if you look at it again, the spine, we always talk the spine of the team, and the spine of the team was very strong. If you look, when you say the spine of the team, we're talking about the two central defenders, we're talking about Ronwen Williams, we're talking about Saboko Mokwena and Satoli, and then, going up the spine. But then obviously you have all the other players as well. So again, I must say that, many people were talking about Percy Tau not being able to perform, but maybe I think we must also say that, Percy Tau for, the last 2-3 years, he was the one that set a standard for himself and for the national team, and he was the one that was always fighting and getting results, and everyone looked at him. And I think if you look at Percy Tau's performance, maybe he didn't perform as well as we wanted to as football fans, but his work rate and his work ethic for the team was phenomenal. And again, he never gave up. So again, individual players, it's easy for us to mention, but again, I think it's a complete team performance. They look solid in defence, they look solid in midfield going forward. I just think that when you look at the results, again, we will lean on the challenge of scoring goals in important matches. I think that is our challenge as South Africans, because it is difficult to score goals in these tournaments, for sure.
Yeah.
But scoring goals is obviously what wins matches. And unfortunately, when it comes to World Cup qualifiers, draws don't help. We need to win matches, and obviously qualifiers, you don't go to penalties. So I think it's key. That's the only thing. I think us scoring goals in important matches is something that we need to work on, and I'm sure that the team, the squad, and Hugo Broos and his technical team are very much aware of it. But again, I will just reiterate, I think it's exciting times for South African football, and now we must fill the stadium and support and get behind them.
Yeah, and you already mentioned the job that Hugo Broos has done going forward. Now, if we were to start now saying that there's massive progression, what is the next project you should be focusing 100%? I know the World Cup qualifiers are coming up next. You already said that probably we should go the reverse way of moving from bronze and go all the way to winning gold. When you were to sit down and say stuff that we need to work on beyond this tournament going forward, what were the things that you can probably say, pinpoint and say those were just our Achilles heel in this tournament?
I think we touched on it. I think defensively the guys were very good. I think it's the key is what I just mentioned before. I think scoring goals in important matches and then being able to defend the lead if you have it is very key. But that is something that I'm sure they would have learned from this experience. But I'm going to reiterate, scoring goals and making sure that we can put ourselves in a more advantageous position in matches, so that we have something to defend, because we've seen we can defend.
Yeah.
So that for me is just something that I know that the technical team and the people will be very much aware of. And then, I'm sure the debate's going to come about our Lyle Foster.
Yeah.
I'm sure that will come into context very soon again, and if he's able to come into the squad, or if he will, and what will happen. But sure, I do believe that if you're whatever the issues behind that we might not know about, if your best players are available and they want to play for your country, then certainly you must bring them on board to make sure that you have the best possible players playing that want to play for your country, that want to play for the squad and play for the coach. Then certainly you must bring them on board and make sure that you have the best opportunity to be able to qualify for World Cups and obviously AFCONs.
I saw there was a discussion around the former players or former captains also. There is former players who played in the AFCON as well, meeting together, having a discussion. Were you part of that?
Oh, no, I wasn't. I think I only captained one game. So I don't fall into the captaincy.
But you were there. I mean, there was a moment for you to sit down and probably help map out some of the stuff for Africa as well going forward.
No, for sure. So, but I was fortunate. I was part of the CAF group, part of the technical study group. looking at the matches and reporting. But certainly, I think it's time now when we see some success like this.
Yeah.
It's time now that the federation pull in those captains that you're talking about.
Yeah.
People that are ex-players that are passionate about Bafana and want to see how we can assist to move the club, the national team forward, to make sure that this is not a one-off. We have put something there. We've set a standard and mark for ourselves, and now it's up to everyone to work together to make sure we can achieve it. We are now set a standard where we are not just qualifying for AFCONs. We are going to AFCONs to win it.
Let's talk about that. You're talking about the TSG, this technical study group. I mean, this AFCON, if you were to try and compare to the other AFCONs overall, I mean, when you talk about the standard of play, how high was that in comparison, or was it just the same?
So I think the standard of play was very high. I think that the obviously the amount of goals that have been scored, I think the key element as well. If we look at VAR, I mean, VAR has played an important role in decision making. I think that if some of the decisions would have, I think in years gone by, would have been overlooked. If there wasn't VAR. But,
some of those would have happened.
100%. So I think VAR it's certainly assists the African Cup of Nations, so where it's leveled the playing field for everyone. And again, there's no more small countries. There's no more small countries in Africa. So this makes it more exciting. If you look at the African Cup of Nations, someone was asking me, but doesn't the teams that come first or second automatically qualify for the World Cup? I said, no. This is completely different. You can win the African Cup of Nations. Now you must still go qualify. So it is such a competitive tournament and continent, and it is such a difficult continent to qualify, for the World Cup. No matter how well you've done at the African Nations Cup. So again, this is a performance that they've done phenomenally well. But now they know that the team and the technical team know they have set a standard for themselves. So now we expect results from them week in, week out, whenever they play, or whenever the national team plays. So that is the challenge they've set for themselves, which is what you want as a footballer and a professional sportsman.
You know what, Mark? We're all proud. We're watching the boys and we're excited to see what they brought back on the field of play. And it was reminiscent, and also we started going down memory lane thinking, 96, Bafana Rekau Fela. 1998, when Bafana was still together, and the 2000 as well. Even though he got a bronze medal, it was up against a Nigerian side. As you mentioned, Tinkler was not there for that particular match. Then Mark and I hope and pray that during our lifetime, we're going to have some of you coming back and plowing back in football and making sure that we become a force to reckon with again in the world.
Thank you very much. And again, well done to Bafana and well done to South African football fans for supporting and getting behind our national team.
Yeah, no. My principal here, who is the referee, Victor Tlungwani, you would know him, was saying to me, "Hey, Bruno, no, man, you're talking about that one in Congo. That was a Brazzaville one, where that was Mark, where Mark got a bit of something there in that particular game. Yeah, that's a different story, that one there. So what do you make of it? I mean, principal, we want to chat more and really unpack a lot of stuff with you from a refereeing point of view. When you were here some time ago, you came here with a mini Bible, and you opened it, and you had some bad news. Yeah. So I see today you're walking around, you're wearing a South African T-shirt, you're smiling, and you're talking to team and saying there's some good news. What's happening?
Yeah, Brino, there was a workshop for referees. I think it started on the 24th of last month.
Yeah.
Where there was some fitness test.
Okay.
And the news came out, some did not make it.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't have the numbers by then. So when it came out, I had to go look for numbers and check as to what's going to happen to those who have failed the fitness test. Yeah, it came out, the number was huge. The league was not going to start without those referees. Then SAFA then decided to have a retest, which happened over the weekend, and all of them passed. You're looking at around the number, when you talk about 15 and 20,
was it Matota score or, proper pass? There's always that borderline pass. The one he's been promoted to the next class.
No, the fitness test, it's, referees were complaining to say the distance was not measured correctly. So, yeah, so that was the excuse that they gave. So, but if the instructor says, the physical instructor says you have failed, there's nothing you can do. You have failed. The referee decision is final. So
even there, the referee
even there, the physical instructor's decision is final. So they had failed. So now the protocol says you must wait for 6 weeks before you can do a rerun. But then how do you start the league with fewer referees? I mean, we had around 13, 14 referees passing, including Tom who were out of the country in Akona. Yeah. So the games in a week, Brian, you know, you have 8 PSL matches and then 8 NFD matches. Now you're looking at 2-2 referee and fourth official from those. And then if you have less than 15 referees passing, it means you won't have all the referees for the matches. So, because you're looking at 16 per weekend.
Yes.
Referee, fourth official, 16 referees. Now you have less than that. It was worrying. And then SAFA Referees Committee decided to have a retest and at Funville for the weekend. Yeah. And good news is that they've all passed and they are back.
But also good news that the league has been postponed. At least now they'll get some time to recover before they actually take the field this coming Friday for the first match.
Exactly, because after the fitness test, normally your legs are painful, so you need some recovery. So it will give them time that by Friday.
It's a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, it's a blessing in disguise because you don't want to have a league where you have referees that are inexperienced. So now we can assure the public that those referees have passed, and then they were in a workshop. Mid-season workshop where they were correcting the first half mistakes, and then in the second round we're expecting better performance from them.
Okay, that's some good news.
Yeah.
What have you got lined up for us today? Because I see you got a mini booklet again out. What have you got lined up for us for today? What are you talking about?
Yeah, let's.
By the way, before we start there,
yeah,
there was a statement that was issued that came from the CAF Referees Committee, where they said, there's technical. I don't know. There's this thing called a technical reason we have had to substitute referees. Can you elaborate on that? How does the appointment work? Because I know initially Ridwan, that is Jihad from Morocco, was supposed to be the middleman for the game between South Africa, and DR Congo in the third place playoff match.
Yeah.
And then a day before, we saw that there was a super sub coming in.
Yeah.
In Bamlek coming in to replace him from Ethiopia. Just take us through the process of the appointment.
Yeah, the process is careful do the appointments, careful referees committee, and send to the referees.
Okay.
Referee will either accept or decline. But when you are in the tournament, you have already accepted to participate in the tournament throughout. And then you need to accept the appointment. So for whatever reasons, I don't know whether what the Moroccan referee gave as part of the reasons. I remember we had a game the other day in Cameroon. We were going with Bennett, and Bennett has just done a game between Tunisia and Togo in Mbombela, where he did not have a good game. We got an email to say, for technical reasons, Bennett will be replaced by Gomez. So that is the terminology that CAF uses. Technical reason or technical reasons, they use that to cover everything. So, it's normal for CAF to do that. But this time, we don't know, because the rumors coming out is that the referee wanted a final. So you don't appoint yourself. CAF Referees Committee appoint the best man for the job. In this case, the best man was Dahane Baida from Argentina. So
he had a wonderful game.
He had a very good game. I don't remember him calling VAR in the final, so that shows. And the good thing as well, we also have our ref colleagues from the SADC region. Dos Santos from Angola was there, and Diana Chikotesha from Zambia.
What a story from her.
A lady manning the line in the cup final.
Her story is a brilliant story. I mean, I remember I covered the COSAFA tournament a few years ago.
Yeah.
And she was telling how she used to walk to school from grade 1 to grade 7 barefoot.
Yeah.
And then it was when she got to high school and a teacher recognized and said, you know what, I know you got talent, you're traveling way too far.
Mm-hmm.
They kept her there and started creating a space for her to stay so that she can be able to attend a schooling. And, every now and then she talks about it, she breaks down, because that's how bad it was. She actually had to take leaves and really wrap up her feet when it was very hot in a Zambian star. I've seen her. She's very humble. But you saw her before the game kicked off. She was very short, very tiny, among the giant of the referee standing by there. So well done to Diane. I think it's a very good story to tell from a COSAFA point of view.
No, with COSAFA, Brian, I know you are the brain. You know everything about COSAFA. You know all the development of referees and the players. And that's a good story to tell. Look where she is now through that dedication. And I thought it's a man. When I look, I'm like, hey, this Diana is a woman. And it was good to see her manning the line in the cup final. And remember last year, or the past cup final was refereed by Gomez, who was from SADC region. Now again, we have two SADC region in the cup final. That shows that Felix Tangawarima in the COSAFA are doing a good job.
Felix, my friend. 060-552-7303 is the number to send your WhatsApp voice notes to. Let's get your reaction for the weekend that was. Now we're going to move from football stories and we're going to now go to cricket because there was something exceptional that happened over the past week, where for the first 2-3 weeks we actually had unbelievable cricket being played here in South Africa, from Bloemfontein and eventually go to Benoni. South Africa lost in the semi-finals of that one after finishing second, and they played against the Indians counterpart, and Indians did very well to win against us. We're now joined on the line here by Malubonga Maketa, the SA Under-19 cricket coach, to have a chat about the tournament that was. Australia eventually walked away victorious, winning for the fourth time, 79 runs is how they actually became champions, winning over the Indians. In fact, they posted 353 of the Australians for 7 from 50 overs, as that is Harjas Singh's top score to 55. But now we are joined on the line to have a chat about this, about the overall performance. Kwena Mapaka, for me, we're talking about it with the team before the show. What a performance he had, the young man. Absolutely brilliant. Let's welcome on the line Malibonga Maketa. Good afternoon and welcome to the show.
Good evening, Brian, and good evening to the listeners as well. Thank you for having me on the show.
What a tournament we had overall. Yes, I know we lost out in the semi-finals to the Indians, who got into the final. But once again, this tournament produced some star players for South Africa going forward.
Most definitely. I mean, Kwena now is a household name in terms of our living rooms, and to his performances as a 17-year-old, it was really unbelievable. And as much as the other young men have not introduced themselves yet, but there were also some youngsters who have actually shown a lot of potential in Luanda Pretorius. Steve Stork, who played a special innings to get us into the top 6. So a few have introduced themselves already at the young age of 18.
I mean, let's talk about this. Let's talk about the tournament itself. I mean, I know that South Africa were among the top 6 and eventually finishing second in the group, in their particular pool, to eventually play against the Indians. When you look at the way we played overall in all the matches that we played in this Under-19 World Cup, and the star players that came out of it as well, do you think we achieved our goal? What was the mandate overall?
Unfortunately, we didn't achieve our goal. If you remember correctly, the tournament was supposed to be in Sri Lanka, and we had really worked hard in terms of preparing our players for subcontinent conditions. And once it was changed to South Africa, with most of our players coming from the Highveld, we were really confident that we can actually go all the way, playing in home conditions, playing in conditions that the majority of our players are very comfortable in. The mandate was to go out and win it, and unfortunately we couldn't go all the way, lost to a good Indian side.
I mean, it was played in home soil and it was very, very unlucky. But I mean, one of the things that we're talking about, we spoke to one of our cricket correspondents, Islam Kota, last week about our performance. One, let's put that aside, because these are still young kids learning going forward. But for me, the biggest worry was the amount of extras we gave away when we played in that game against the Indians.
Yeah, that was our Achilles heel, the whole tournament. And looking back, and the conversation and the work that we did was really to try and make sure that we improve in terms of our discipline when it comes to extras. On average, at every game, we're bowling extra 2.5 overs. You know, which really hurt us. And in a game where we've really worked hard, and especially mentally, because a lot of these things people think, it's easy, just, mentally, it also becomes a challenge if it's something that you keep hopping on. So unfortunately, we couldn't rescue the situation, especially in the semi-final, which we needed the most. But throughout the whole tournament, the extras were something that we can control that we were actually not good enough to do, which was disappointing for us coaching staff.
I mean, you talk about this under-19 tournament, that's where the likes of Rabada came from, way back the days. Akram came from this as well. And Diwal Brevis was the best player not so long ago. We see Kwena Mapaka coming through to be part of that particular unique league of players that have played for South Africa. Surely there's something you're doing right from from a CSA point of view.
Most definitely. I think what we've done...
Mali, please move around a bit. I think we just lost you for a second. That is the coach of the South African under-19 team. That is Malubongwe Maketa. We'll try and get him back on the line. We could just lost him there in a conversation talking about the overall performance for the South African under-19 team that lost in the World Cup that was played for cricketers. Let's try and see if we can get him back on the line again. Mali, welcome back. No, I think we're having a problem there. So as soon as we get it sorted, we'll have to come back to that. So just to recap how things have gone. South Africa lost in the semi-final. India went on to play against Australia in the final. Australia finally winning that one. So that's how it all got wrapped up. But now it's all about preparing and going forward, looking at all the other stuff that are coming back from a South African point of view. But I've got to say, I've watched the matches. For me, the future is bright. I mean, I watched Pretorius. I watched Mapak. I think we still have some good players there. Those extras were proven to be very, very costly at the end of it all. Principal, let's come back with you as we talk in all things sport overall. Let's go for a break. When you come back, we'll bring in the principal again. Do remember, you can still get over 060-552-7303. That you can send us your WhatsApp or voice notes. Let's have a conversation about the weekend. What do you make of the Bafana performance overall? What do you make of the champions of the continent? Talking there about Cote d'Ivoire. And also, you might be an Arsenal fan, Liverpool fan, or a Manchester City fan. What do you make of the performance of the team overall? Barcelona held by Granada. Leverkusen showing Bayern Munich that, you know what, Asbambanga Brelala, we are there to take it.
Podcast Friday on Sports Night Amplified with Ndile on Metro FM.
Let me start with Pro Pilani perhaps. I'm surprised we're having conversations about whether Hugo Broos stays or not as a nation, but as far as SAP is concerned and their stance, Dr. Jenny John says we want him to stay.
There's absolutely no need with Ndile for us to panic and start looking for another coach. I feel Hugo Broos needs to remain in the team to take us to the World Cup.
Nadim?
Yeah, definitely he needs to stay. For me, this is one of the best Bafana team I've seen playing in a tournament. The coach needs to fight for qualifiers for the World Cup in USA, Canada and Mexico.
Mark, my worry is not on whether we want to keep him, but whether he wants to stay.
Yeah, I concur. I think the question is really whether he wants to stay. We should be begging him, in essence, to stay and, continue the work that he's been doing. And where they are right now, we couldn't ask for better.
6 to 7 p.m.
Dream home, luxury cruise and slick new wheels. Still stuck on your vision board? Ask what's better. Settling for what could have been, or making it happen. With up to 4 free Capitec savings plans that you can personalize and competitive interest, you won't have to think twice. Kickstart your savings now. Get it on the Capitec app and don't just dream it, live it. Capitec. Better never rests.
It's the Spark Grand Cash Giveaway with 5 million Rand in instant cash to be won. Just swipe your rewards card when you buy any participating product. Like 700-gram Spar pre-packed cheese, only $89.99, and 2-liter Spar ice cream, just $49.99. Or buy any two for 90 Rand. Prices valid from 7 to 20 February. T's and C's apply.
And that's why we shop at Spark.
All right, here we go. Call Metro FM now on 0860 002160. Drop us a voice note on 060 552 7303. Waking up.
We're listening to your conversation pretty shortly, 060 552 7303. We want your reaction. How you saw everything over. Let's get a reaction now of the principal himself, Victor Hlongwane. There's when I said I'm doing the show today, I got a call from one player. I'm not going to mention the name.
Yeah.
He said that guy still sent me off for something that he didn't do, and he was laughing when he did it.
My player, I wanna need to, Brian. I wanna need to, but we'll get to that.
Let's get your rate card overall for the referees in this AFCON tournament.
Bruno, the referees have done well.
Yeah.
I have counted more than 10 penalties that were given by VAR in this tournament. Okay. What does it tell me and you? It tells us that VAR is a way to go. How many red cards has already been given by VAR?
Yeah.
So through the assistant of VAR, it made life easy for the referees to perform their work. So we can give them 10 out of 10 because it's only 2, not even 10. Let's go for 9 because Sadio Mane was supposed to be sent off. That referee who did not send Sadio Mane was sent home immediately. So maybe that's the one who reduced the marks. And then there's another one, Kamatuka, who kicked Maseko, was supposed to be sent off. So only 2. So that's why we go for 9.10.
Okay, let's go to the lines now. We've got Xolisa joining us, coming from Johannesburg. Xolisa, good evening and welcome to the show. Or let's go to the voice notes first and we'll come back and take the calls after that.
Good evening, Brian and the team. You know, for bronze. Roland Williams, you know, congratulations, Lena. Like, yeah. And then Ivory Coast also. For being the champs. Yeah, the weekend that was coming from Tembisa.
Wala sanibonani Dumelang abshiye nindamo lweni. Hello. Awuvusomavusana lona from Greenfield. I just want to congratulate Bafana. The boys played well. They've really played from the start of the tournament up until third place. You know, Hugo Bros, the whole squad, won. They've really played, they've really fought. The Babonis, like, they wanted to bring the trophy home, but unfortunately, it wasn't to be. At least third place, that's something. So congratulations to Bafana. Congratulations to Rowan Williams. And also Veli Motwa. Although he didn't play, but that guy played a huge role. Okay, tango.
Well, good evening to the Metro crew, and I would like to say congratulations to Cote d'Ivoire for taking the cup, especially when Nigerian media was already lining and preempting that their goalkeeper Chipa is not fit for the South African League. I say karma is a witch. Thank you. And thank you for silencing such people, because already there was also already a negativity to say if Nwabali comes to South Africa, something will happen to him, something that has never happened before. And it was very childish for whoever spread that rumor. Thank you, Cote d'Ivoire, for silencing Nigeria, and I thank you again.
I gotta say, that's another topic there. You know, my neighbor, one of my neighbors from Nigeria.
Yeah.
So, you know, I was actually offered jollof, that is the rice.
Okay.
And so after the game, the Wi-Fi password was changed also. So things are not good.
Yeah, when Stanley comes to South Africa, it is his home. Yeah. We are a peace-loving nation. Nobody will hurt him.
Yeah, looking forward to see Stanley playing for Chipa United when he returns in the country. Let's now go to the line. I think that's where you're going to now in Johannesburg. It is Xolisa. Xolisa rather comes. Welcome to the show, Xolisa.
Mr. Pikunjaput.
In the right, Unjan.
I'm right, Sam. It's surprising that the very same referees that were declared had failed the test a few weeks back and now have passed the test. And I can say it on record when Mr. Wuti, they didn't pass on merit, because not all of them should have passed, because if they deserve to pass, why did they fail in the first place?
Mtlegas, not is failure test. So we as a trainer pass. You just train hard. When you train hard, you pass the test. You can't say you'll fail and fail and fail. It doesn't work like that, my friend. You fail. You know how you failed the test, because it has to deal with time. So you arrive in time at the right time, then you pass the test. Easy as that.
Oh, so
I honestly think they were pushed for this pass.
No. It was conducted by highly qualified FIFA instructor now. Tracy was in charge of the test because because referees, when they felt, they said the distance was not measured correctly.
Yeah.
SAFA then said, let us take a senior FIFA official to do the test, which is Tracy, who conducted the test, and then they passed. So what are you saying? You have never been to that test. I've been there several times, and I've seen referees failing. I've seen referees getting a retest, and they pass.
Have you failed also at some stage?
Yeah, I was injured. I failed, yeah.
That's why.
And that was a very good disclaimer. Now I was injured. That's how I failed.
Yeah. I had a stress fracture. I was not aware, but I could not finish. Round number 4, stress fracture was painful.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that's okay. So no, there's no pass 1, pass all, ne?
No. They just passed.
Ninja 1, Ninja 1.
They passed correctly.
Okay, no, it's good. It's good as long as that happens. Let's go now to Milan in Johannesburg. Milan, good evening. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, brother. How are you?
I'm all good, my guy. I'm good. I'm feeling good. And how are you?
That's great. Look, I want to congratulate Bafana for their performance that they displayed in the AFCON. I think that was the best Bafana that we've ever seen in so many years. So in a question whether Coach Hugo Broos stays or not, I think he must stay. He must stay.
Yeah.
He gave us something that we can cherish as a country. So, even though I think there is some element that he needs to include in his team, because I've witnessed Bafana play, especially we had a very good defense. Okay, every department, defense, midfield, and strikers. But at some point, I will recognize that, okay, in all the games, that there was an element of speed needed from the striker. You will have seen Mahupa playing from assisting the defense, also asking the midfielder. But the element of speed, I don't know who should have selected that. The element of speed was needed in front.
All right. Thank you very much for that one, Milan.
All right.
Thanks. We all just hope everything goes well going forward in that one there. Hosi?
Yeah.
You good?
I'm very happy. I'm Bafana, proudly South African.
See, when Faith comes in, Hosi's okay. Faith was, for a minute ago, he was just telling people how he got injured and that's how he failed the test. So you walk in now.
And then he says it's okay. Oh, Vicky. That makes me happy. Are you okay?
Just like a fish in the water. Jubilant.
You know what I told Tim?
What did he tell?
Whenever I come in to do the show, right?
Yeah.
I must never leave the studio before I talk to you.
Aww.
Because if you don't do that, look what happened when we play Nigeria. Imagine if I'd spoken to you, the luck was there. You bring the luck.
I really do. And the thing is that I feel like I need to be acknowledged more for my little gifting of luck. You know? Like, I think I really did.
You've got to acknowledge that.
I really do. The next time I need to be sent through to these soccer games as like an ambassador or like a mascot. I think I'd make a nice mascot. Don't you think I'd make a nice mascot?
Yeah, the name speaks for itself.
Right?
Faith.
I think I'd make a fantastic mascot. I'll tell you one thing.
How are you doing this today?
I am very well, thank you. Yeah, it's been a good day. Busy, but good. We've also got a lot in store for ourselves this evening on Metro FM Talk. We're going to be speaking to the Democratic Alliance. They've been quite busy of late. The Democratic Alliance has asked authorities to charge the country's Deputy President Paul Mashatile with corruption, upping pressure on the ruling party ahead of the general elections. So we'll speak to them about exactly what the charge is against the Deputy President of the country.
Okay.
Not only that, the Constitutional Court of South Africa has basically ruled in the favor of the Democratic Alliance for the release of the minutes that are pertaining to the Cadre Deployment Committee. So those minutes now are supposed to be handed over, I think, within 5 days to the Democratic Alliance. Of course, it's a big win because it's all about how is it that cadres got deployed in various key positions in state-owned enterprises for the purpose, and how is it, because it's literally looking at as the beginning for what it terms as, in inverted commas, state capture.
Yeah.
So we're going to be interrogating that as well as a collective. We're also in conversation this evening with Rhodes University Vice Chancellor, Professor Mabizela, to speak about the 2030 reading panel, looking at government to basically invest more in indigenous languages, learning materials and the like. We're going to be talking about how 80%, get this, over 80% of grade 4 pupils in South Africa, 80 in South Africa, cannot read for meaning. This is a panel that the former Deputy President of the country, Phumzile Mlambo-Ngcuka, sits on. Now, we've got Rhodes University Vice Chancellor sitting on that. We've got various, the DDG of in the Treasury sits on those panels as well. So when we're talking about people knowing the facts, 80% of grade 4s cannot read with meaning. How? Yeah, we're in conversation with them about that. That is really insanely concerning. Yeah. And then another concerning thing, and I'm sure it's happening in many other townships, but we're not talking enough about it. Do you know that there are illegal evictions that are happening to the elderly in townships, especially when it comes to their RTP houses? Yes. So somebody will come into the house and say, I've bought this house without their knowledge, and yet the gogo must now move out of the house. And if it's happening in Soweto, how many other townships is it happening in where gogos are looking after their kids? Or grandchildren for that matter, and then you get somebody randomly coming to you saying, I've bought this house. We're in conversation with the MMC of Human Settlements. I mean, we're in conversation with community leaders and the like this evening. It's going to be a big one.
Yes, indeed, because when they talk about it, I mean, gogos and umkulus, when you rock up and say, I'm coming, I'm the law.
Right.
They panic and they just give away everything and eventually just move out. And you find out a year later that, in fact, that house belonged to so-and-so and they're no longer there. Thank you very much. Looking forward to that. I think the first one that I'm looking forward to is the list of the cadre deployment. Because I want to know, how do you make the list?
I want to be on the list.
The lineup, the starting lineup.
Not a South, eh? You can't be a super South.
Yeah.
You've got to be in a list continuously. So, that is Metro FM Talk coming up with Faith in a bit here. Thanks very much to Bravik.
We have been deployed. We have been deployed. Now we have to leave.
Mark Fish, also one of our guests for today, also talking about Mali Maketa, the coach of the under-19 team. And also, everybody who took part and got involved in the show here today. Timmy Maranda, the man producing the show, as well as talking about Malcolm Ndlovu Tabonkwala, imaging as well. Until we meet again next time, I should be back tomorrow on this Sports Night Amplified. My name is Brian Mufokeng. Have yourself a super one.
Welcome to the Urban Rhythm Revolution. Listen, Metro FM.